And something I want to clarify with this concept that might be, I don't know, some people might be struggling with is kind of say, let me ask my partner first, kind of thing, which some people might feel like, why do I need to get my partner's permission to do so? Welcome to the You, Me, Us Together podcast. We are so glad that you're here with us today, and we hope you just enjoy this episode, what we have to say in it, and be sure to check the links in the description if you want to join our community.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
This week we're talking about calendars.
Ooh.
So, what are some habits that we've created with our own calendars? Do you want to talk about some of that?
Yeah. Our calendars are a big part of our marriage. That sounds weird.
It seems silly, especially because we don't have day jobs, if you will. And so we're always, who knows what this week is going to hold every week. Yeah.
But our calendars, which we use digitally, is probably one of the biggest tools that we use to help communication in our marriage.
Absolutely. So we have separate calendars. We use Google Calendar because we came from Android and Google.
It's just been the easiest for us.
It's been easiest and we are comfortable with it. So we use Google Calendar, and anytime either of us has an event, we create it on our calendar and then share it. We invite our spouse, right? And the point of doing that is we don't have to accept it, right? So if I have a men's event, I'll still invite you, but it's not to say you need to come with me. It's just so that you can see, oh, Noah has this going on. And then we can set up our own colors separately as far as like, oh, I have, this type of task is this color and whatnot.
Yeah. So, and it's taken a lot of diligence and creating a habit to make sure that we put everything on our calendar.
Yes. It's only been in the last 2 months maybe that we've actually been really diligent about it.
Yeah, but I put everything on there. Any event that we both need to be at, like a family event, any church events, any just me events, or you put just you events. And instead of having a shared calendar, we have separate calendars so we can kind of like choose our own colors, like you said, and set it up the way we want, because we're different. We like to set things up differently. And then we invite each other to every single event.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think that's one of the number one things that we can be doing. It's super basic, but as couples, it's kind of that first line of communication. A lot of people struggle with looking ahead and making plans far out. But that's just, you have to do that with how busy we are these days. Everyone is super busy, and it's like, if I want to meet with this person for coffee, I have to schedule it 2 weeks out because we both are busy.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's scheduling things anyway. Why wouldn't we communicate that with each other?
Yeah. Because every week, like even if we look at our week and go, oh, we don't have anything on our calendar, every week fills up.
Yes.
Things come up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, every week.
Every week. So like I'm not exaggerating.
Comes up.
Every week. Did I get that point across?
Yeah. So, when it comes to our calendars and communicating with each other, more is better than less. That's really what we've come to. The conclusion we've come to is the more we talk to each other, the more we say, hey, this is what's going on, the better our communication when we're together is going to be.
Yeah.
Right?
It does not hurt to over communicate.
No, it doesn't.
And if you happen to get to that point where you're over communicating, I would like to applaud you.
That is great.
Because that is so hard to get to. Because that's one of the biggest things we've realized since we got married. And it's not just in marriage, just in general.
Yeah.
Everyone is bad at communicating.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Everyone.
It doesn't matter if you dedicate your life to communication. It's just, there's some aspect of it that all of us certain people just don't grasp well.
And you can work on it to get better at it.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've been working really hard on it for years, and there's still things that, oh, sorry, I forgot, or
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know,
and we're going to forget things, and we have to have grace with each other, and we have to work through that.
But the more you communicate with your spouse, the more you're on the same page.
Yeah.
And, we all know that that's good to be on the same page.
Absolutely. So one of the major things that we've decided to adopt, one of the major principles that we use, is when we are, when something comes up and it's like, oh, I really want to do this thing, or someone invited me to this party or whatever, before I say yes, even if it's like, hey, we're going to go out and do this thing tonight and it's noon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to say yes to that person that invited me until I talk to Cambria, right? Talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm talking to you. Anyway.
No, you're good.
Because otherwise we've had so many situations where I say, oh yeah, I can do that. And then I get home and Cambria's like, wait, we have this thing going on, or I was expecting to spend a few hours with you tomorrow and now I can't.
Yeah. And it's not even just always individual events. It could be, hey, I scheduled a dinner with us with this other couple, and it's like, you didn't tell me that.
Right. Yeah. And it's tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had dinner planned. I already put dinner in the crock pot out, stuff like that. So, that's just something we've adopted.
It's a good habit.
It's helped a lot with our communication. We can do better at it though, because we still forget.
But I feel like that one sentence has saved us so many times.
Yes.
So many times.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how big, how little it is. It could be huge, like, do you want to go on this 3-week trip with me? Like, or it could be little, like, hey, do you want to, I don't know, do you have an example? Hey, do you want to get coffee tomorrow?
Right.
You think about, like, if someone asks you, do you want to get coffee tomorrow? It's like, that's not a big deal. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. I'm sure Noah will be fine with it.
Right.
That idea in your head of saying, I'm sure my spouse will be fine with it,
yes,
is something we kind of want to get rid of.
Yeah.
It's not that it's a terrible thing, but it breaks the communication.
I actually just had a thought. So I 100% agree that at the core, this is what we need to do as a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
I think as people grow and understand better how their spouse functions and understand their schedule, if it's really normal, a lot of people have a really regular schedule.
Yeah.
Then some things it's okay, like, yeah, I know I'm free this day. And we've actually had to do some of that where it's like, I know I need to go out and work in the shop. And so how can I just say yes to things without having to come to you every time, like, hey, can I do this for an hour or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's been like, well, let's schedule this day that I can go out and work in the shop.
Yeah.
And that makes it way easier for between us, so that we both are on the same page, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
And something I want to clarify with this concept that might be, I don't know, some people might be struggling with is we're telling them to kind of say, let me ask my partner first, kind of thing, which some people might feel like, why do I need to get my partner's permission to do stuff?
Yeah.
And it's not that we're telling you have to get your partner's permission to do anything.
Right.
That's not what we're saying.
They're not your boss. That's not the point.
The point is, by telling someone, let me ask my partner first, or my spouse first, you're telling them, like, I hear what you're saying. I need to talk to my spouse first, and then I'll get back to you. And then you have to actually talk to your spouse. You can't just say, let me talk to them.
Yeah.
And then when you talk to them, that right there is just giving that communication.
Yeah.
We're not saying, ask your spouse's permission to do this.
Right.
We're saying, use that moment to say, hey, this person asked me to go to coffee tomorrow. do we have anything else that I don't know
Right.
about? You'll say no, and I'll say great. And then I'm going to go to coffee with
Exactly.
whoever tomorrow at 10 a.m. or
Yeah.
something like that. I'm not going to say, hey, someone asked me to go to coffee, and can I do that?
Right.
You know, and
Yeah, that we believe that's unhealthy.
yeah, I just want to clarify that because I realize it sounds like it could
Yeah.
come across as ask your spouse permission to do anything.
Right.
And that's not what we're saying. We're saying communicate with your spouse what you're doing and ask if there's anything that you're missing. So that way you're on the same page and it's easier to not get frustrated with each other because you're on the same page.
Mm-hmm. Of course. And that's a big reason why we use the calendar is we both can go in and check, oh, this is what we have going on this week, without coming to each other like, what do you have today, and all of that. Now, that can be important
Mm-hmm.
to talk to each other face to face, but sometimes it's like, I have no idea what's going on, I need to check.
Mm-hmm.
And keeping up with that is super important.
Yeah.
So that leads me into habits we are implementing now and want to implement. We have a weekly meeting, if you will. We do a devotion, we pray together, and we go over our calendar.
Yeah.
And all that is what do we have going on this week? What is work stuff? What is personal stuff? Do we have any family events going on?
Mhm.
Whatever, right? Are there any major things that we need to do, like our date night that we scheduled for this month? Is it this week? Stuff
Yeah.
like that. And we both pull out our calendars, make sure things are updated, all of that.
Yeah, we'll look at our calendars together.
Yes.
But then when we're done with our calendars, we put our phones down.
Yes.
So we can be intentional
Yeah.
about our time together.
Yeah, being just in the moment with
Yeah.
each other.
Because the point is to be there together, not let's do a double date, you, me, and our phones.
Absolutely. Yeah. So one layer back even from the weekly meeting
Mhm.
is a monthly meeting. This is where you're going to schedule your date night, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to go over, does anyone have a birthday this month that we need to get a gift for, or we need to check and see if there's a party going on, whatever. Are there any church events that are on the schedule that we want to go to?
Yeah.
Anything else? Just things like that,
Yeah.
right? And I would advise that weekly meeting is not your date night. Your date night is to have fun and just be together.
Yeah.
It's not to be a business meeting.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes date night needs to be more intense
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
communication.
Yeah, what you're saying basically is like, your date night, you need to be together and connect. It's not supposed to be a scheduled meeting where you only talk about business stuff.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly. It's just simply about date night needs to be its own thing,
Yeah.
and you need to schedule a separate event. And this event doesn't need to be 3 hours. It
No,
needs
it
to
can be like 5 minutes.
I would say 10 to 15, but
Yeah, it depends on how busy
yeah,
your
of course.
schedule is. But
Yeah. And this isn't, some people probably would like to go week to week. What do we have to do every week, right?
Mhm.
In the month, and that's totally fine.
yeah,
That makes it so your weekly checkups are like, we all good? Yep. Okay. We move
yeah.
on.
This is just what we found that works well for us.
Right.
And we thought we'd share it.
Yeah. So that was the biggest thing is we want to talk big picture about communication. These are the early steps, super easy to implement things that reduce stress between us
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to our schedules, because we think, this isn't a real stat, but I would say 80% of conflicts in marriage, maybe not 80%, a large amount of small conflicts in marriage come from communication problems.
Yeah,
Right?
that's something.
It's either lack of communication or poor communication.
Yeah, that's something we've observed between married couples that we've seen of all ages.
Yeah.
It's like lack of communication is one of the biggest problems of conflict in marriage. And I don't know, we see it all the time. And it's like, we do it too. We're not perfect.
No, yeah.
Of course we're not. But you can totally tell if you look.
Oh, from the outside, it's super
it's
obvious.
like, if you would have just talked to each other,
yeah,
maybe the outcome would have been different.
Yeah. Not guaranteeing that the outcome would be different, but it's pretty likely that things would have been easier for you if you had actually
And we know
talked
it's
about
difficult.
Yeah.
We're not saying, oh, it's just as easy as communicate. Like, there's a lot that goes into communicating.
There is.
And we know that in the moment, sometimes it's hard to remember, too.
Absolutely.
It takes a while to work on,
Yep.
but it's worth it.
Yep. So that's about all I had. The biggest thing was this is a communication series. We're going to do a lot on communication because we think it's super important to understand how to speak to each other.
Would you say communication is a foundational principle of marriage?
Yes, absolutely.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other foundational principles are.
Sex.
We'll figure it out. Communication and sex.
That's pretty much it.
And that is marriage.
Oh, and
if you've never been married, that's it.
Those
that's
definitely
all
go
you need
together.
to do. I'm just kidding. No, that is not all you need to do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But, yeah.
Yeah. Communication is important in sex as well. We'll talk about that sometime.
Communication in sex? Is that what
During
you said?
sex, with sex.
I thought you
But
said
don't have your
communication
weekly
in sex.
meeting while you're in the moment of the encounter.
Yeah. Yeah, we would advise you to not be having sex during your weekly meeting.
No. Before or after, sure.
I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the word meeting. I feel like we need to come up with a different word.
Encounter.
Weekly encounter.
No, I don't like it.
I don't know. We'll come up with a different word. If you have a better word than meeting,
let us know.
Put it in the comments. Let us know.
I know.
Because I don't really like it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it a date? Is it a weekly date? It's weekly intentionality time. Checkup? I like checkup. Weekly checkup.
Let's see what the people say.
Checkup is better than meeting.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Meeting, checkup, encounter, date.
No, I like encounter.
Non-sexy time. Weekly, non-sexy time.
So, that was about it.
Awesome.
Yeah. We're just going to be talking about communication for a while.
Yeah, that's why we need to just create a series.
Yep. So this will be the first in a playlist of many communication podcasts, and they'll all be in a playlist together. So if you want to look for those.
Not all of our podcasts will be on communication, though.
No.
So if you're like, communication, stick with us. Yeah. There's other stuff.
Stick around. We got some spicy
This
stuff.
is only number 2. We're planning on doing this for a while.
Yeah, at least 10.
Wait, did you say we got some spicy stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
We got some spicy stuff coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to eat like hot sauce together or something?
No, we don't do the hot sauce.
I don't do the hot sauce. Do you do the hot sauce?
No.
I thought you did okay with spicy stuff.
I'll tolerate spicy stuff. I don't choose it.
Oh.
We are getting off track. We should just be done now.
All right.
So.
Awesome. That's it.
Till next week.
Yep. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Adios.